And after a fortnight away from the circuits, we are back at the Red Bull Ring for round 3, races 5 and 6 of the World Super Touring Championship, with your Volkswagen Renault partnership on the front 2 rows there. This is Adrian Michael Rees with Christian Shepherd alongside me. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And we are waiting the lights to disappear. And an entire surge towards Niki Lauda curve. And off they go. Front wheel drive getting the qualifying times, but that rear wheel drive Alpha of Wittmann trying to get a mention in for the first turn. It looks relatively clean through turn 1 already, but Aiello already into the lead, having nicked it from Gasho. Here's Swinnerton taking an absolute storm in qualifying. We normally see him in the midfield, but here's the braking area for Remus. Oh, bit of love tapping aplenty coming out of Remus. Another acceleration, another bout of top speed before braking for Schlossgold.
Suarez, similar to Interlagos, has had pole position, lost it completely down to third place. Both Megans now occupy first and second place.
And instead of the alternating Renault Volkswagen, is now a 1, 2, 3, 4. And some of the other front wheel drive cars have started to crawl up the field. There is Thompson now up to 5th. You've got Camish up to 6th. Wittmann falling back after the start. They go 3 wide almost. Nope. Camish.
Made it work.
That was. Oh, this will be interesting. Going to the final turn. Still relatively clean. Lap 1 complete. Another 14 to go. And those clouds do look threatening. Not seeing anything on the radar. But you could see a drop here or there. Swinnerton down the inside of Wittmann again, but Wittmann's got the power to keep the position in 7th. You're on board, Swinnerton. Relatively impressive start for Swinnerton, even if he has slipped back to 8th. But the action at the front, just like in Interlagos, it's your Renaults, it's your Volkswagens. Different type of circuit to Catalonia, where the rear-wheel drive cars did manage to sort of put some rebuilding work in since Interlagos, but it looks like it's as you were. Toyota back to the midfield as well. Joseph Bippel up to 10th, now ahead of the other Focus in Palou, the rookie. Here's Nielsen around the outside of Swinnerton. Yeah, I think that Swinnerton's going to be the cork in the bottle for the rest of the field there. Obviously, there is a crocodile brewing right there. Aiello still leads. Here's Palou.
It started a bit further back down the grid, but now looking a bit feisty, with Butcher now himself up to 12th place.
Certainly wasn't expecting this much of a lottery in the opening rounds. But I think that depends on the circuit as well. I'm surprised that the Toyota isn't higher up, considering that Interlagos has some similarities to, well, in fairness, the twists and turns of all the circuits you've been to, there is similarities, but you've got the undulation here at the Red Bull Ring is sort of similar, and the Toyotas I would have felt would be higher up the grid. But here's Butcher in 12th. Oh, look, here's Gasho gaining on Aiello already. Timor does what Timor does, as Suarez looks set to capitalise if these two decide to crash into each other. Braking area for Schlossgold, and Aiello looks to have given up the ghost. Suarez pouncing on that one already.
side by side throughout corners between 4, 5 and 6.
It's been clean between those two. I'm surprised it wasn't as clean between teammates earlier. Here Suarez, the timing is showing he's gone up to second, but look at yep, that's definite now. Ayala seems to have given up that battle, but let's see if he's managing his tyres towards the end of the race. But there's Wirtz in the other Volkswagen. Oh,
he's loose there with Kamish as well.
Absolutely, Kamish on the edge of adhesion there, with Thompson fortunate enough to sort of lift off, whilst a bit of deja vu in Kamish's seat belts were
Yeah.
Alright, lap 4. I think going by the track map, Swinnerton's down to 10th, but
Nielsen and Biffle got past him at some point during that. Just speaking on the Toyotas from before, they definitely don't seem to have any top speed. That Ford just keeps absolutely pulling away, and another Ford behind, catching right up.
We've noticed this through practice and qualifying for this circuit in particular, and at Interlagos, is the front-wheel drive cars seem to have found the performance, whereas the rear-wheel drive cars, you just thought with the top speed and the acceleration out of the corners would have had that in their favour. Not so, Butch still in 12th. Kobayashi in the customer Honda. Yaduma, who's normally in a sort of more midfield position.
Ford very loose around this track. Seems to have a bit of an oversteer setup going on.
Swinnerton back up to 9th as Biffle. Surprisingly couldn't handle left turns there somehow, but here's Rint corner. Swinnerton starting to pull away.
Yeah, those Fords are struggling around the penultimate corner there. Oh, just saw another one. Very tail happy at the moment.
I wonder if they'll get together during the break to find out what's going to be needed to be done there. If they're doing that in practice and qualifying, I'm surprised they haven't fixed that issue. Here's Wickens.
It's more than likely that it's supposed to be a lower downforce setting so that they can go faster on the straight, and that's how they're keeping some of these cars at bay.
Very likely. The spread, as you see the leaders taking the second braking area with ease out of Remus. Here's Aiello again.
Suarez in the lead.
Suarez has taken the lead. We've missed that. Obviously there was action earlier.
So Aiello taking that second place back wonderfully.
Over Gasho.
That's a very late move there from Gasho. Gasho still currently with the fastest lap with a 139.9.
Let us hope that there'll be some kind of entente cordiale between the two Renault drivers after their collisions earlier have led to this loss of the lead to Suarez in the Volkswagen. Thompson exit the final turn, still got Kamish in front of him. Kamish a bit more sensible through the penultimate turn. No wobble on in the rear tyres.
Not after the third or fourth lap wobble that he had prior.
Wittmann looks to be the best rear-wheel drive of the bunch so far, but it's enough of a gap. This point in the race, I doubt that they'll be able to gain on this pack of 6. You can see Wittmann in the green Alpha in the background there, whilst this leading chain sets themselves up for the next battle. Braking area for Schlossgold. Here's Aiello down the inside. Will he get it off of Suarez? Nope. Suarez sensibly handled there. No damage at all either. But we are only 1/3 of the race complete.
that's
That
slightly
was a
tail
bit of a
happy there
wobble on
from.
early on. Before, that was almost before. That was before the apex for that particular turn at Rima.
Shows how hard they're
my name mixed
pushing.
up there.
Very low suspension
Yeah.
on the two McGanns there. Yeah, Whitman seems to be the fastest front-wheel drive, sorry, three-wheel drive car in a maybe described as a front-wheel drive playground at the moment.
Very much so. The visible gap on the map, visible gap on the timing boards. Nielsen with Thompson ahead, you'd think he'd be able to get ahead of it. Remember, he's having to deal with Swinnerton back on board with him in his Mazda. All the heavier cars on the grid.
Oh,
and that's
late brakes. Oh,
there's the heaviness in evidence right there for Nicky Lauderkurve. And the crocodile behind.
Tears for both drivers, yeah.
Biffle being the cork this time, and Palou just happy to be there on track behind one of the customer Fords, semi-works Fords rather. West Butcher in the new Toyota. There we go. Bit of an that could have been questionable, but obviously not taking full advantage of the love tap into Rima's curve.
Oh, that was a bit
that's more like it. Unless I'm much mistaken, that love tap has kind of was a bit more dangerous going into Schlossgold.
Well, Biffle will not be happy with that kind of move. Always going to come back for it.
Rear wheel drive, the rear wheel wobble. You could
get the tyre squeal in there. Good grief!
The drone car managed to pick that up.
Seeing absolutely nothing of the BMW is clearly struggling around this track as well towards the back, I assume, based on...
We thought the issue with Barcelona would have been, you know, fixed. Obviously a different beast altogether with less flat out areas as they still wobble. They still get their wobble on through Rint curve. The rear wheel drive
slow them down. I don't think that's such a big problem for them.
I keep saying rear wheel drive, they don't rear wheel drive. It's just the rear wheels are lacking the aero or the drag.
Oh, Biffle! Oh, he wanted that back. He wanted to. That looked like almost it was going to be a bit of a payback there.
Palou was expecting a bit from Biffle, but obviously a bit still gentlemanly halfway through the race. But you'd have thought he'd have capitalised on the contact with the two in front, but he's got Wickens. There we go. There was Biff.
There was definitely some beef. There's some beef between Palou and Biffle.
That was the beef from Biffle right there, as Wickens now looking to capitalise on Butcher's sympathetic actions into Rima's curve. Fortunately, we don't have any. There goes Wickens down the inside of Palou. Wickens down the inside of Butcher. And there is a Ford trio right there. Palou sandwich. Oh, Butcher.
Yeah, Butcher's getting swallowed in this.
Yeah. And whilst doing that, Suarez still leads from Aiello and Gasho. So unless they're going to have a wobble on into Rint curve right now, we should see that change on the timing board in the top three on the left-hand side of your screen there. There goes Wickens again. That's your Fisichella and the other Alpha, the red one. Looking to also capture Butcher once again.
Back in there.
And there goes Wickens with the wobble. There's Fisichella taking full advantage. Exit the final turn. Drag race down to Lauderkurve. Kobayashi still keeping his customer team happy. In close attention right there. But then of course you've got another gap to the back of the pack there. Not that they want to pay too much attention to it. All that we know is that BMW are in there. And once again, there's going to be words at the end of the race. Speaking of words at the end of the race, here's Aiello ahead of Gasho. No damage, no long-term damage, having had those two collide with each other at the start. We say collide, it was a bit of a love tap, but hasn't had any lasting damage there. There's Camish in 5th.
Yeah, Thompson bit of a gap off a little bit as well, yeah. Possibly the tyres. Maybe they're waiting for the final stint of the race before pushing again.
Technically early days still, even if it is now into the final third. Almost the final third. Wittmann still holding 7th. Nielsen has won it then. And then you've got that particular battle we saw earlier. It seems to have rectified itself again, where Butcher's ahead of Butcher's ahead of Wickens and still ahead of Fisichella's Alpha. Suarez and Yellow.
Oh, very loose there.
That's where we're going to see some action for the rest of the race. If the drivers don't recognise or keep forgetting, there's not a lot of grip in the back of that Ford Focus to keep it pointing in the right direction. Suarez and Yellow in the braking area for Remus whilst we're looking at Biffle. Now Gasho's gone. I thought Gasho would have gone ahead of Suarez, and obviously that's Wirtz in the other Volkswagen. It's still them at the front. I wouldn't say it's been the most spectacular, but we're still getting something out of this at the front of the field, even if the midfield is doing a bit more to drag our attention away from the leading pack. Definitely a spread on for, you know, the sort of, they're grouped into their own sort of little sort of 25% or so, yeah, definitely. And that's on the other that's on a left turn, not a right one as well.
Can't help but think that these Fords would be a bit more dangerous if they were able to keep the grip.
No spinning. No need for any flags to wave. In fact, I don't think I've seen any flags being waved during the first 10 laps of this race.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be the case. There's a very large gap between first and last place at the moment over these 10 laps.
Now we've got Wittmann in the mirrors of Thompson's Honda. There's Nielsen in the other Honda. Now we've got Swinnerton there in 8th, qualified 5th. Not that he's going to be too disappointed about that. He is the only one running the heaviest car in the field. Here's the midfield pack. Here's Wickens and Butcher still again side by side.
Yeah, look at the top speed of that Ford. Clearly out-dragging the Toyota into the corner.
And there's the wobble on through Schlossgold. Butcher still 12th, Wickens still 13th, Fisichella still not trying right.
Both Fords going wide.
Deja vu all over again.
Absolutely amazing. Sun has come out as well, so maybe there might be a bit more. There we go.
And that kind of certifies the lack of any wet weather, any need to come in for wet tyres at all. Suarez and Yellow still at the front there, looking promising. I have a feeling we're going to see those Fords doing the exact same thing in race 2. If they're going to be doing that on every single lap, the fix is obviously not on. Aiello, I don't think he's close enough for that break into Remus.
No, but he's definitely closer than the previous laps.
I wonder if he's going to get on the exit.
No, there's definitely something on here between these two.
The best two cars doing qualifying, the best two cars doing practice, and of course with 3 laps to go. Only Carmish's Ford just saying I'm here too, but you know, obviously here's Aiello for the turn at Schlossgold. The acceleration out of Schlossgold and lead Renault back into the lead with 2.5 laps, 3.5 laps remaining.
Yeah, Gashu just looks a bit more loose around that corner than his teammates as well.
So after the collision between the two Renault teammates, obviously the message was play it sensible, and it has led to this point in the race, which is exactly what you want in any race scenario. Good on Volkswagen to try and capitalise on the mistakes. Suarez on board. Nicky Lauda curve.
Yeah, Bethel has completely overtaken Butcher now.
Well, Biffle was always ahead of Butcher. It was Wickens who was still behind him. Here's Nielsen started to fall back. Wittmann did in fact get ahead of him then. In fact, Swinnerton's gone ahead of Wittmann also. Decent battle here with only 2.5 laps left. .15 laps, you'd still be managing your tyres, even if it is a short race by sort of F1 standards. The racing is still got plenty to say, even with only about 2 laps left. Rauch, the first of the infield left turns, the wobble on from the rear-wheel drive cars. How Butcher hasn't capitalised on that, I'll never know.
They don't seem to be losing really any speed when they seem to go wide. Not say go wide, oversteer like that.
With another race to go, obviously there is some to be kept in reserve. You know, we want to make sure that your team have got a clean bill of health going into race 2. But he is being very sympathetic with the cars in front when they have made mistakes. Toyota's foray into the championship on a proper basis with this 4-door.
Just looking further ahead, yellow flag.
There we go.
Span out, turn 1.
And that is Swinnerton. So that is a shame. All that effort in qualifying, and it is gone for the race.
Possibly lost it on the outside curb. Let's have a look into here. Oh, beforehand.
And all by himself.
It's possibly that the tyres have scrubbed out, chasing down Thompson there. Looks like he's going to drop as far down as 14th. Yeah,
the weight of the car might have had a say in that as well, especially with the top speed circuit with braking areas. Not absolutely flat out. It would have been nice to see that car at the front there.
Possibly the brakes fading, maybe even to do with the tyres itself. So it's very late braking there for him. Fisichella looking a bit scuffed on the front right. Like he's been slightly towards with the bumper of a car.
And now he's managing. Only now was he managing to get into that pack that was in front of him, but it's too little too late with 2 laps to go, I feel. With Wittmann in a higher points pay position.
Oh, swinging around the outside before we cut away there. Camish dropping slightly off the top 4 there, same with Thompson dropping off under 5. Whitman the highest placed rear-wheel drive car. Ooh, the Honda again, its tail out now.
the reason we're looking at this on the last lap is that look at the gap ahead. Aiello has now clearly got this under wraps, as long as we don't say too much about it. Palou on board, top 10, Biff behind him, Nielsen ahead. Fifth race for Toyota in this championship. Obviously sensible points, but having won 2 of the races this season, and with the reverse grid not being in their favour, with him being 11th, is going to be concerning for race 2. Unless something really silly happens with these 2 Fords in front of him. They do get their wobble on again. Here's Aiello, last turn. There we go. Race 5, Aiello. Maximum points in the bag. Gasho's going to get the fastest lap points by the looks of it, unless something happens further back. Birds cross the line. Here goes Carmish. Yeah, I don't think anyone is going to be pulling a major miracle to get the extra 2 points off of Gasho. But there's the absolute swarm we've been paying attention to pretty much all race long.
There as well.
Yeah, there we go. Wickens ahead. Kobayashi preventing Ide from getting any points at all. On the left side about BMW, the better. All 3 of them, except for...
Is it not 4 of them? I may be wrong there. Was it not 4 in the bottom there?
Well, Rydell is in the Honda, so it's Dumas is the only customer.
No, outside the points. But no, you're right.
But all 3 BMWs, yes. As I mentioned, the left side about them, the better.
I unfortunately thought there were more, so my apologies for that.
We'll see you for race 2. Don't touch that down.